So, do we have any questions or any? It's all pretty well self-explanatory.
Was the original concept for the movie very much like what you turned out, or did it change during the production?
Interesting. I think we wrote literally. I think I ran like 3 scripts by Jane before we got to this one. They were completely different scripts. Like we had a psychological thriller, we had a full-on horror, and then this.
We were working on this, starting with the limitations of the budget, basically, and so we narrowed things down. Specifically with Dog's Breakfast, the only thing I can think that changed once we were in pre-production was the death, the ladder.
Oh yeah, because there's a whole reschedule.
The location completely changed. You go.
What Jane's trying to say is, there was at the last minute we were originally going to shoot this in my house because the rent was much cheaper, but there was a border issue because we live in the States and we're very close to Canada and our crew was Canadian and there was this whole back and forth and we would have broken laws in like 10 countries.
We couldn't realistically have 35 people coming to stay at our house every day, so especially with equipment and
much as we'd like that. So we ended up renting this house, which was just a much different configuration than ours. We have a staircase that would allow a ladder to fall and kill him inside, which would have been cheaper. But this house didn't allow that. We sort of got in there, and I was like, "This is perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect." And we're like, "Great, we're signing the lease. We're getting the thing for a month." And then I was like, "He's gonna have to fall off like a 4-step ladder."
The basement was so tight down there that you couldn't fit the camera to see the top of the stairwell properly.
It was HD, these giant, huge cameras, because in the future everything will be larger. So we had to literally rewrite the whole death sequence to work outside.
So that's what brought the Christmas lights in, and I really loved everything that it added to it, except for the mud.
Oh yeah, well, because the other thing about renting this house is we rented this house before the 40 days of raining. We rented this beautiful little house that had like a lovely long lush garden and then this little lake tucked away at the back. And then we showed up for shooting and the lake was sort of lapping up against the porch and the lush garden was sort of covered in ducks. So that also that changed actually the whole getting rid of the body. It's completely different. We had
very happy accident.
It's a reality film. Oh, and the other thing was Kate, my real little sister. Her boyfriend was staying with us at the time as well, which was kind of amusing. So what's the film about?
He was actually a stand-in for the death scene, I think, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah, he came along and he was hanging out that day, and we're like, look, we need somebody to just lie there and act dead. Hurry up. Never mind.
You buy a ticket like everyone else. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer, wasn't it?
Another question.
And the second part.
You got all the questions on the second part?
In the second part, you're in most of the scenes. Was it hard to do the acting and the directing at the same time?
I don't remember. Jane should answer this, because Jane was my eyes and ears on this stuff. I mean, I would literally come in and say, ideally this happens within this frame. Oh God. And then I would run off and say some of the lines that I've written and most of the other ones were God knows what I was talking about. So the weirdest thing to get used to actually was doing a scene without sort of stopping and listening. Not as the character, but as the director. You'd be like, no. Oh, my line, right. The first couple of days was Anne directing yourself. You're like, you idiot, it's this Anne. And the crew just stood around going, why are you arguing? Because it's different in the camera. You can't, like doing the whole bowls and the breakfast food. First day of shooting, we figured, do the easy stuff first. How hard can it be to shoot a guy eating cereal? Well, you try looking at a monitor and dropping things in bowls, because I don't have that kind of, I failed kindergarten. Yes?
What was it like working with your co-stars from Stargate in a completely different context?
I was God. Remember what you do on Stargate? I don't do that. It was a lot. They were very, very understanding. I think I started every sort of piece of directing that I would do with "I'm really sorry." You know? Yeah, exactly. But you forgot to shave your legs, Paul. Yeah, it was. They were incredibly it was. You know, it's one of those weird things because when you're on the show, it's you know, we just do what we're told. And all of a sudden, it was my responsibility to say, you know, what they wanted. So they sort of stop and look at you at the end of it, and you'd be like, I thought we did good. You know, and then remember that I was supposed to be telling them what to do. So, you know. Chris Judge, yes. I was most nervous about Chris Judge because he's huge. And the opposite of me in every way. Like he's just cool and laid back, and he showed up on set, and it was the funnest day we had because he's like flirting away with Kate, and Kate's like, well, I think it should be flirty now. Because originally she was supposed to be just incredibly uncomfortable because the whole thing. She's like, I think I'd like him. So yeah, and he was on his best behavior. So there was no legal action or anything. Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the show?
You want to record this?
Can you tell us more about the show Starcross that is being in production?
Somebody's been reading up on the internet. Yeah, we just, for everyone else here, Starcross was our little sort of tribute to Stargate. We were like the little fish that swim around the giant great white sharks, just picking the food out of their teeth. And they were kind enough not to chew our heads off. So the analogies are full apart there. Yeah. And in an ocean of. But what was funny about it was so much fun to shoot that people kept saying, like, you should do Starcross. So we actually approached NBC Universal and Sci-Fi about doing exactly that, doing a sort of a Larry Sanders version of making a sci-fi show instead of a late night talk show, and the suckers bought it. Sorry, voice of doom here.
They bought the pilot, and they apparently by all accounts love the script, but they have to give us the go-ahead to shoot it, and then they have to love that, and they have to give us the go-ahead to do the series. So we're like a lot of steps along the way to getting Starcross on the small screen, but we'll see.
It's like anything you do, you find all these different. Is she finished? It's like anything you do, you find there's a million different levels to it that you didn't know about. So you don't just sort of write a pilot and then they shoot a pilot and then they make a TV series and then you're like Will and Grace. You get hired to write. You get hired to pitch them on. You get told to pitch them on something. If they like it, they'll take it to a script stage, and after the script stage, they'll decide whether they want to actually shoot it. And even then, after they've spent money and actually shot it, they could throw it away and never see it again. So it's never going to happen. No, it's looking quite good right now. And apparently they were chuckling about it, so that's probably a good sign.
One more question. You pick it.
He's had his hand up for a really long time. Not to pick favorites, but I really like him. This better be good. Dude!
Are you going to be doing anything with Natalia in Madrid?
Vincenzo Natale. Vincenzo's like the reason I'm here. Dinner? Yeah, exactly. I don't know. He's got a couple of things going, and Vincenzo did a film called Q years ago, which nobody's seen. And he's sort of the reason why I'm doing this. I mean, we started making little films on high 8, before it was video, and it was actually film, like 5 years ago. So we're friends for forever, but best friends. And what's the point of this? Yes. He tends to call like last minute and say, "Oh, by the way, you're supposed to be on set tomorrow at 7." And we've got to replace your eye. And the last time I showed up, they said, "Can you shave your head?" I said, "No, I'm not shaving my head." It's like, one day work. Give me the lead, I'll shave my head. But he's got a couple. He's got a film called Splice that he's working on with is it Guillermo del Toro? Is it Pan's Labyrinth? Yeah. He's doing. He's producing. I think he's on to produce that film with him. So hopefully, yeah. I'll be the guy like with the big horns and the in the background. Oh, thank you very much for coming.